Sean Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
There's a billboard outside of my house now with your face on it. Mr. Morgan, how are you?
Very good. Good morning.
All the billboards, are you, like, I think I saw one of you as a fighter and one of you as a, do you get to pick your creative as what they have you up on the billboard?
I get to approve my creative. I get to suggest some of my creative, but I have some people in Brooklyn who work on it who sometimes smoke a little bit too much weed, and I get stuff I'm not able to use, but they would love to use. If you could ever see the outtakes or the clips that they would like me to do, you'd really have fun.
You have a book called Life is Luck, Lessons from a Paperboy and How to Improve Your Luck. So life is luck. I don't know. I feel like you've worked pretty hard. Why so much on the luck side of it?
Well, here's what happened. A couple, I don't know, months and months ago, Forbes magazine had me on the cover as one of the 700 or so odd billionaires in the country. And it was a stunning thing to look at because you're so busy climbing, you're not really counting. And then all of a sudden, there it is. And so I then started thinking back about everything I have done to get to where I am. And when I did that, look back in the rearview mirror, what I saw were 1,000 left turns, 1,000 right turns, 1,000 U-turns. And a lot of time it was just flipping a coin or my gut. And then you end up here. And what I saw was a lot of luck. Now, everybody hates to be told they're lucky. The more successful you are, the last thing you want to hear is that you're lucky. Like if somebody were to tell you, you're lucky to be this great, big, huge DJ in America with shows everywhere, you'd push back hard because you know what it took for you to get here. You know all the pitfalls and all the detours. But when I looked at it, I saw luck. I saw three types of luck. Pure luck. That's just, catching lightning in a bottle. Planned luck. That's Ben Franklin with a kite up in the sky looking for electricity. And then there's practiced luck. The more you do, the better you get. And so when I did that, look back, and those three forms of luck, I thought it would be worth sharing because I believe that luck can be found if you're looking for luck. And so it's kind of a how-to book. Now, one of the things I say about my luck is, and I bet a lot of people listen to your shows, I was a paper boy. I was lucky enough to be born with an entrepreneurial seed. Being a paper boy or paper girl is a murderous job. You're up every day, 7 days a week, rain, sleet, snow. And so I started with that thought, the paper boy, and then I went on from there. And through my book, it's not my life story, it's stories from my life where luck, pure luck, planned luck, and practiced luck came to play. And the book, hopefully, is a way for the reader to improve their luck and thus their success.
So it had to be, if I'm going to put motivation behind this, you wanting to give something back because, again, you're a billionaire. You didn't need the money for a book deal, right?
No, I didn't. I wanted to. I've written 2 books before this called You Can't Teach Hungry and You Can't Teach Vision. And, when you get stuff up in your head, you either got to get it out or leave it in. And I have always found it's better to get it out, whether it's my businesses. Look, I had an idea years ago to build an attraction that was turned upside down, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And finally, I just went ahead and built one, and it's called WonderWorks in Orlando, Florida. And I've got 6 of them across America and getting ready to build a 7th. So for me, it was giving back, showing people what I have learned, because when you read my book, you're going to read in my book about a lot of books that I relied on in my climb to where I am today. And so I reference and thank all those authors for what they gave me in their great books.
Whenever you have as much money as someone like yourself, you specifically, is there like one username and password that you can put in and see all your money?
Yeah.
There-
Like just it
Yeah, just-
consolidates everything into like a
Just
is
log
it like
in.
a pie graph?
yeah. How's that work?
It works well. And, I get to see every drop of interest I make on every single day. So the thing keeps going up, 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 up. If you're not going up, you're going down.
So you put in your username and password. Do you need like a retina scan or fingerprint too? Because if you don't want someone to have your information, you can just log in every day, huh?
I can, and I do a lot, but not as much as you would think. Not as much as my son Matt does. I mean, he's over there logging in all the days, like Chimp Empire, just over there, just click, 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 and he's a counter.
Is that the son that you fired?
Do what?
Is that the son that you fired back in the day?
No, I didn't fire him. I wanted to many times. Because he would go surfing instead of going to work. But the one I fired was Dan, who turned out to be okay. But he's the one that had to go to work at Firehouse Subs.
Why did you fire your own son?
I fired Dan because he was working at WonderWorks, and he was going off to lunch and taking like 2-hour lunches, 2.5-hour lunches, and he wouldn't do what the manager said. And so I said to Dan, I said, look, you're a problem for our business. And here's the deal, Dan. You can go to school and go look for a job. And if you don't find a job, you can just go to your room. And he got a job at Boston Market. They were going to make him cooking turkeys or ham. He was so well received there that they never let him out of the dishwasher room. So he quit like 4 days later. I said, Dan, think about that. They think so highly of you that you're at the bottom rung of Boston Market. I said, that's telling me I fired the right guy. I said, now what you need to do is go get another job. And he got a job at Firehouse Subs, became one of the great sub makers of all time, learned his lesson, and to this day works his arse off.
How hard was it for you, as somebody who grew up with not a lot and you had to work hard, to have kids who then had money because their dad had money? Like how did you instill those values on them so they appreciated it?
Well, it's a problem in many respects. When I would travel on vacations, they traveled with me. So they're getting that lifestyle. But what I did a lot of things. One, I made them pay for their own insurance. Two, they didn't have to buy a car, but they didn't get much of a good car. I mean, I think Mike's first car was a 10-year-old Previa van. And these parents who want to show off their own wealth through their children and the kids showing up with BMWs and Mercedes in the parking lot, I think is gross. Plus, a 16-year-old's going to damage the car. So let's damage a 10-year-old Navigator or Explorer. And then I made them work. I remember one Christmas they came home and I said, have you two guys got your work schedule at WonderWorks for Christmas? And Mike said, Daddy, nobody at Bishop Moore is working over Christmas. I said, that can't be true, Mike. And then Matt said, no, Daddy, nobody's working over. He was a ninth grade. He goes, nobody's working. I said, I know that's not true because you two are working. And here's the good news. You can pick your 40 hours because I own the place. You can work from 8 to 5, 12 to 9, 5 to 2, but you two are working. I made them work.
What do you think the biggest myth is about personal injury lawyers?
The myth is that they're ambulance chasers, that we're out there, looking for accidents. We don't need to look for accidents. There's enough negligence in this world. The people who say, ambulance chasers are the people who are usually the insurance industry with propaganda. And they say they're talking about frivolous lawsuits. Well, let me tell you something. It's frivolous until it's you. It's frivolous until your leg was cut off by mistake. It's frivolous until the doctor killed your father. It's frivolous until a semi truck blows through a red light and smashes your car. We only take about 8 to 9% of all the calls that come in. We don't have the money to chase BS cases. And if they were BS cases, go to forthepeople.com and look at the last offer they made us and look at our verdicts, and you'll see it's not. But it's all by the insurance industry. And then they try to trick the people. They say, hey, these billboard TV lawyers are raising your insurance rates. We need to have tort reform, which takes away people's rights for the insurance industry. And the promise is your rates are going to go down. Well, I ask every single person listening all over America today, have your rates ever gone down? No, it's the big lie.
If there was a law that you could change, it could be about this specifically or something else that you deal with a lot. Like what do you feel like is fundamentally like the most wrong law that you would change right now?
Well, there's a lot of laws. I mean, there's been tort reform going on since Christ was a baby, and it's been tearing down. But the one thing that I would change, I would make, and this would benefit society. I would make it mandatory to have bodily injury insurance. I would raise the level of coverage to a mandatory 25 or 50, because 40% of the people out there don't have any insurance. The person gets injured by a negligent driver, and who pays? The system. Medicare, Medicaid, the system. Who should be paying is the driver, the negligent doctor, whoever that caused the accident. And so I would make the limits mandatory, and I would raise the amount of coverage so that we don't have to tap into our social net savings type thing with Medicare, Medicaid, or just a hospital who never gets paid.
Mr. Morgan, I went to forthepeople.com, like you just said, and started scrolling through some recent cases. And there's one where y'all got the client 455 times the insurance offer. So the insurance company was offering this person $70,000 after a concrete truck ran a stop sign and crashed into her car, and she suffered lasting back and ankle injuries, okay? And then Morgan & Morgan, y'all got her over $31 million. $31 million, and the insurance was offering $70,000? That's crazy.
Exactly. And then what the insurance company does, whether it's your health insurance, whether it's your homeowner's insurance, whether it's a third party, deny, delay, defend, drag it out as long as they can, try to get the float on it. Meanwhile, that law firm who got the verdict handed to them, they're billing the whole time. And but a jury got it right. They figured out what it was. And the reason you get these big verdicts sometimes is the insurance companies come in there telling the jury something that's just not true, being absolutely unsympathetic, and juries get mad and they get these big verdicts. So there's some law firms who just take the last best offer. We're on 150 dockets a week in America. We got a verdict 3 weeks ago for $650 million for a quadriplegic who had an accident in a restaurant in Winter Park, Florida, and they were offering us zip.
Dang.
And then they have to pay $600 million?
Yeah.
Where do they get that money?
Well, insurance.
Oh,
But
okay.
look, here's the thing. They had opportunities. They had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. But in that particular case, they come in, they infuriate the jury because they were trying to put the blame on the man with the quadriplegia wasn't his fault. It was these stairs were like a black mountain in the highest mountain in America. And juries get angry when they come in and start blowing smoke. And so
Wow.
that's what happens.
So the book is out. Life is Luck: Lessons from a Paperboy and How to Improve Your Luck. One selfish question that I'd like to ask is: do you still own the O.J. Simpson Bronco?
Yes, I do. And what I would like to tell you is located down in one of my attractions called Alcatraz East in Pigeon Forge. And anytime you want to go with your staff, I want to take you down there on me. And then you go down the street to Wonderworks, and then you go back down the street to my restaurant called Downtown Flavor Town. The Smoky Mountains is one of the most beautiful places in the world for vacation. And you and your crew have tickets free for life.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got lifetime tickets.
Downtown Flavor Town.
What did that Bronco cost? Did you buy it like an auction, like a bid, like a whatever?
I rented it for a while, and then they wanted to sell it to me, and I paid probably 3 times more than I should have, and I've been paying a lease for a long time. But to me, that attraction does very well. I have all sorts of, I mean, you won't believe, I mean, I got Ted Bundy's VW. I got Murdoch's, I got Murdoch's golf cart. I got John Bonet's bicycle. I got Bonnie and Clyde death car from the movie. I got Dillinger's sedan. I got John Gacy's clown suits. You would not believe
Does
everything.
that feel a little weird?
Yes, but I'll tell you what else. I'll tell you what else is weird. Crime and Punishment. America's obsessed with it. You go to a movie, you watch a TV show, you go to Netflix. Crime and Punishment, Crime and Punishment, Crime and Punishment. So the Paperboy started thinking. I went to Alcatraz one time. I go, and you couldn't get in. You couldn't get into Alcatraz. Sold out for the week. You pull out $100 bill, you go in. But when I went in there, I was like, my God, America is obsessed with Crime and Punishment. So I built it. It looks, if you look at Alcatraz East, it looks like a prison, and it prints money because of America's fascination, weirdly or not, with Crime and Punishment. It prints money.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, we watch all the documentaries, and I mean, we feel weird watching it, and you feel weird liking it. Or sometimes we'll watch something and then we rate it, and then it feels weird giving it a rating because it's like so rating. Tragic.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, 5 out of 5.
And you're right. And how about this? Why are we? First of all, we make people. I got a bunch of Wild West, people's guns and stuff. We love Billy the Kid. We love Jesse James. We love Bonnie and Clyde. They're murderers. But all of a sudden in America, we got them up, it's Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway as Bonnie and Clyde. And it's an obsession. We have an obsession with serial killers. Why? I don't know. Just because the fact that we have those monsters amongst us. I'll tell you a funny story, not funny, but interesting. Before I went to law school, I sold Yellow Pages, and I took a 2-month break before I went to law school. I went to every single day of the Ted Bundy trial where he was accused of killing this little girl named Kimberly Diane Leach. And at the end of the day, I used to go across the street to this hotel bar called the Monkey Bar and have drinks with Ted Bundy's girlfriend. And he married her one day during the trial. And I was there for that. And I was there for the day he was sentenced to death. And you mean this guy, I could study this guy forever and ever and ever. Because he's the type of guy, he's a law student. He's the type of guy that walks in your house dating your daughter and you're like, this is a great thing for our family. This is Ted Bundy.
Wow.
And then he ended up being a psychopath.
Yeah, serial killer.
They all are. Have you been watching that guy up in the guy in Long Island that evidently killed them all in his house. And but we are just fascinated as a country, look, how many CSI spinoffs are there? I don't know. But when you look at the top TV shows and movies of all, you know what else I have? Do you ever see the movie when he says, "Say hello to my little friend," Al Pacino?
Oh, yes.
Scarface.
Say hello to my little-
Scarface. Brrr, I own my little friend. I bought that for $18,000. And that movie, you know, Hollywood makes these villains heroes. You know, we find ourselves pulling for Scarface. We found ourselves pulling for, you know, in Narcos. I don't know if you all saw the Narcos stuff on the Mexican cartels, but there is a fascination with it. And so what I decided to do was to give America what it wanted, which was an attraction. The only
That's
other one was
crazy.
Alcatraz itself.
You ever thought about buying that?
Well, Donald Trump says he's going to reopen it and make it a prison. Have you ever been to Alcatraz?
I have,
It's-
yeah.
I've never been in. I've driven.
I did the
I've been by
tour.
it on the boat. You have?
Yeah, it wasn't sold out when I went. And you get the headset, and then you listen
Yeah.
and you hear about
Yeah.
all the crazy stories.
Did you see the cell where the Birdman of Alcatraz lived, and Al Capone's cell, and the guy who jumped off and supposedly made it back to shore? The waters are freezing. I don't think anybody can escape from Alcatraz. But there's one guy who disappeared, and they never found his body.
Wow.
Crazy. You said you bought the Say Hello to My Little Friend for $18,000, which I get when you're buying something like that. You probably pay attention to the price tag, but like in just everyday life, do you even look at, like, if you're going shopping for clothes, or you're like, I like that shirt, or do you look at the price tag and you're like, oh, $80?
You know what? This is a funny thing. The other day I was in my closet and I thought to myself, I've got so many clothes, and at my age, I might never buy another stitch of clothing. I look around like I got all the shorts I need. I got all the t-shirts. I live in Hawaii in the wintertime, and we just wear, you know, bathing suits and t-shirts and flip-flops. So I don't spend hardly any money on clothing because I don't need any more. But I don't really look. I will say this. The other day I was in a grocery store, and this woman comes up to me. She says, "My God, what are you doing here?" I go, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You're doing your own shopping." And I was like, yeah. But then I started looking around after that. You know, there's a lot of people who go to the grocery store and they can only buy so much. They can only buy so much because they're counting their shekels. I have a house in New Hampshire we go to in the summer. And one day I'm standing there and this woman's looking at steaks, this place called Marketplace. And she looks at me and she goes, and she throws her meat back down and she goes, they're not giving it away, are they? And I thought to myself, how terrible. She threw her steak down because of money. And I gave her $100. I said, I'm gonna give you $100 if you promise me this. She goes, what? I said, buy $100 worth of steaks. And she did. But it makes me sad that people go to the grocery store and have to not get certain things that they want, and that's why just recently, or last week, I built a new food bank in West Virginia. Both the United States senators showed up to it. There is food insecurity in this country like you'll never know. In Orlando, we have the Morgan Hunger Relief Center, and it tears me apart that people, you know, and this is the working poor that goes to these food banks. It's not somebody that's just laying in a crack den. These are people who go from the grocery store to the food bank in the most wealthy country in the world.
Final question. Do you have a bunker?
A bunker?
Yeah.
The only bunker I have is when I take my gummies at night and go to sleep. I feel like I'm in a bunker. I feel like I'm flying over everything, and I don't need a bunker because I'm flying.
So if like the asteroids coming to Earth, you don't have like a bunker you fly to as a billionaire to hide out from everything?
No, but I'll tell you, I got friends who do. I got friends who spend a lot of money out in. But look, here's the way I look at bunkers. I don't know about you. If we're at that point in time with bunkers, and if we're at that level of Mad Max, where Mel Gibson's on a motorcycle looking like a gladiator, they're gonna kick that damn bunker door open and come take me out. So they're going, how are you going to escape the Mad Max in your bunker?
All right, there he is, the great John Morgan from Morgan & Morgan. His new book, Life is Luck, Lessons from a Paperboy and How to Improve Your Luck. I hope you sell 1 billion of them. Thank you for the lifetime pass over in Pigeon Forge. We're there quite a bit, and always love talking to you, Mr. Morgan.
All right, call me John.
All right, John, see you later.
It's a Bobby Bones Show.